Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow. When was a time you felt the most out of alignment? And then the point where you realized it? And then how did you get back into alignment?
I think the biggest one was the time when we had the fiscal shift in the economy. I was enjoying a lot of contracts.
Like what year would that be?
What was that, 2008? And I had agreed to be on a board, a corporate board, and to receive compensation for that. I ended up giving up some of my other clients or not renewing contracts. Well, it turns out these guys stopped paying to the tune of about $150,000, which meant $300,000 because I had to cover that. The consequences of that, not only placing stress on myself, but my family, as well as my relationships. So now you start going through the gyrations and gymnastics mentally of shoulda, coulda, woulda, what if I had, what I do, those kinds of things. And it actually led to a situation where I had to make a decision. Do I do this or do I do that? And it led to bankruptcy. Well, for my mind, it was like, how embarrassing is that? But in that moment, it was humbling, but it was also healing. All of the things that we had held in my mind. But that was the course we took because the family was in the situation.
Why was it healing?
Because I could let it go, right? I had to let it go.
Because even though I'm in this position, I still get family. I'm still alive, like that?
There is that too, right? Because I realized that all of these things that were bothering me were self-imposed.
Oh.
Because you're living the aspirations of others. And it really made sense to me then that if your reality is the product of other people's illusions, then their dreams become your nightmares. And I was living a nightmare based on the illusions I was having based on what others were saying. But it wasn't the first time I had to experience it where I had to step away, not quit, but step to something rather than away from something. This was probably the most dynamic because where I was, what I was doing, and my own perception, as well as what others were expecting of me at the time. It was like a real slap in the head. And it doesn't just go away. You have to live with that decision. It was a decision that had to be made. Others have made it, but I wasn't proud of it. But at that moment in time, I've seen other people jump off buildings.
Yeah.
And that's not an answer. So it really forced me to look at myself. It really forced me to look at the entire system. Why is this pressure here? What is this all about? What is reality? And so this is when you find out the difference between monetization and monetization. Money or mana. My mana account was really low as a result. So my money account was low. And once I started rebuilding my mana, then things started returning. But it was a drain on my spirit. That was a tough one.
Did you feel like you got it back into full alignment at some point or not?
I think we're working on it every day. Everything is in entropy. And what we're doing is we're maintaining enough inertia to keep lifting it. And by doing things that lifting others lifts you. It's a concept of expansion.
So what was like the turning point or some kind of lesson in that made the difference for you?
The recovery was difficult. One, because there's the internal. But then the reality is you have your cup. You're ready to go to the pond, but there's no water in the pond. So even your intention to do well in an empty pond, what do you do? So that's when I had to turn back to source. And really, as much as I was speaking it, thought I was living it, to really connect back to source and acknowledge abundance rather than continue focus on scarcity.
If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.